in both medical institutions as well as educational institutions. So we've had to take that into account as we have increased our in-person learning opportunities, but it's absolutely real.
You know, I know that you have been fighting hard to get kids back in classrooms, so it must be pretty disappointing to you, to say the least, that there is this now additional 2-week delay at least to getting the teachers union on board, et cetera. But I'd like to hear from you about the actual impact on the kids and the learning loss and how profound that is, not to mention the fact that it's literally forcing parents, largely mothers, to choose between their job and staying home with their kid. What is happening?
Well, Poppy, you're absolutely right. What we're seeing first is that there are parents, and parents of color in particular, who do want an in-person option because, quite frankly, they've never had the choice to work from home. They want safe options for their young people. And we have families across our city in every neighborhood that are seeing increased depression, isolation, withdrawal from learning. We've had families come up and just hand us laptops to one of our principals and say, I can't do this anymore. And these are already families under duress. And so part of what we are really working for is to give options for all of our families, whether they're low income, whether they're English language learners, an option for their young people. We're seeing the toll in academic outcomes. So we have a 20 to 30% increase in the number of our ninth graders who have failed one course, their first year in ninth grade. And this has long-term implications. We know this already, that course failure in ninth grade reduces the likelihood of a young person away from high school. So we're seeing some of that negative impact alongside some families don't want the virtual option. We're just saying all families deserve a choice, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their neighborhood, their first language, or frankly, their ethnicity or race. We want families to have a choice.
You know, the fact is that data shows it's safe, though. Like with vaccines, the vaccines are safe. The data shows it overwhelmingly. And reopening has been shown to be safe with mitigation. So I wonder, how do you get those facts through to help change some of these views?
So one of the things we have seen, Jim and Poppy, is that when we proceed slow and steady and we give families the opportunity to see for themselves, right? So we're hosting open houses at our schools so that families see that the SOAP that wasn't in place prior to the pandemic is now in place. They see the distancing. They see the masking. And for a lot of our families, seeing is believing. They're not just going to take our word for it, because they already have challenges in relationships with institutions. But we have seen that that's slow and steady. When we began our student learning centers, out of 1,000 spaces, we only had about 200 to 300 filled. Within 3 weeks, as families saw that we were true to our word, we had all 1,000 spaces filled. So I think that what we have to take into account is that we have to guide families through the procedures we're actually putting in place. And then the seeing is believing. Their kids are coming home feeling much better about being back and having those connections. But you've got to show you can do it safely.
Yeah, got to get buy-in, right? Sonia Brookins Santelises, we wish you the best of luck. The work you're doing is just so important.
Thank you all, and thanks for getting the word out.
And we'll be right back.